heart attack.
That's how you kick it off.
Hey everyone. Welcome back to our newest segment that me and Omar decided to start during this pandemic called Was It Really That Bad? Movies, superhero movies that have gotten a bad rap for being terrible. So we are revisiting them and seeing if they in fact really are that bad and what our thoughts are now that we've gotten to see them um, after some time. So we let you guys vote this week. We basically picked the top 20 from IMDb's like worst rated
Like we
films.
took we took IMDb, we took Rotten
Metascore.
Tomatoes,
Yeah.
Metacritic, and all that, and put them together, and we did like the top 20 worst rated superhero movies, and
Yeah.
we chose just a few, and we'll probably do that every week. Choose a handful and let you all decide what crap we watch next.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. So thank you everybody for joining us for this
Yes, thank you.
live episode. Uh, I think we're gonna try to do it around this time every week, but it may vary. Just keep an eye on the channel.
But should be good. We
So
got our wine and our beer.
yeah, it should be fun to talk about. So
Yes.
Timmy Ray said it was lit.
It was lit.
What's up, Hideo Nojima said yes, it was that bad. Rock and Roll Rebel 1000 said
Yes,
yes, it was that bad. What's up, William Presley, JT Gamer? Everybody that's joining us, we'll let a few more people trickle in, and then we can get started and talk about this masterpiece. If
Yes. Now, how's everyone doing? Checking out my new Google Nest hangout. Seeing how this Google Nest works on my Wi-Fi up here in this room in the back corner of my house. So, hi,
What's up, Andrew? How's it going, brother?
Hey, Freddie's on, and so is Highlighter. Hey, guys.
I've never seen Green Lantern. Hola, mi
Well,
amigos.
We should tell you now. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead. Came out in 2011, but we will talk spoilers.
Yep, it's 2011. So wait, this is before Avengers, huh? So this
But
is
it was after
this
Iron Man, before Avengers, because Avengers 2012. So yeah, you're right. This is yeah.
interesting. Okay. Amigos y amigas. That's right. What's up, Dom? Seen it once and never revisit it. Same as I, and I went to revisit it. I've only seen it one time in the movie theater.
Thank goodness HBO now had it on.
And now watch it. Greetings from Mexico. What's up, Pitt? Jesse
Yes,
say
hello.
what? What's up, man?
I like Andres. In brightest day and blackest night, no bad CG shall escape your sight.
You know, my
Very
friend.
clever.
I hope my friend Josh joins us because Josh is actually the guy that worked on some of the 3D effects. That was one of his earliest jobs.
Oh wow.
And sometimes he joins the chat, but he was working at the studio that was kind of outsourced to do the 3D animation, and his job was to do the 3D on the mask. And he was like, this is gonna be garbage. As he was doing it, he was telling me, I know you like Green Lantern, but I'm telling you right now, this movie's gonna be bad. But we'll see this.
Yes.
Was this after Wolverine Origin?
It was. That came out in 2009, sorry. But Wolverine came out in 2013.
Yeah, so this is Ryan Reynolds redeeming himself.
Trying to redeem
from
from
a bad
that dead
superhero movie. What's up, Larry? How's it going, brother?
Hey, Larry.
Damn, that CGI suit was awful. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yes, we'll get there.
Justin, when Parallax is a giant poop cloud, well, yeah, we'll get there. Green Lantern is such a unique character because his power is literally his imagination. It was pretty disappointing when he just used a big fist to punch Parallax into the sun. Oh, we'll talk about all of this here in a second. So let's get started.
Yes.
And anybody, please join in the chat if you've seen it. If you've never seen it, yeah, we will talk about spoilers because there is no way to, kind of break down the movie
without doing it. Yeah.
So, the movie 2011. Amanda, can you tell us a little bit behind who made it, like who was the director and all that stuff?
Yeah, I decided to do a little bit of research on it because I was kind of interested. I don't think I did a lot of research back when it first came out.
Philip Evans, you guys keep doing these on movies that were that bad. That's the point,
Okay,
Philip Evans.
maybe we'll sneak one in there that I think is really good, and
And I
Omar's
think
like,
it's
"Man, look,
trash.
Iron Man 3." We can have a whole conversation about that.
I don't get it. But anyway,
Someone else
go ahead.
agree with me on that? Okay. So
Oh,
this
wait. My boy Brian, all the way from London. Much
thank
love,
you for
man.
joining us.
Anybody that's joining us from overseas, thank you. Thank you so much. I know you guys are up late.
Yes.
Sorry, Amanda. No further interruptions.
No, it's fine. So this came out in 2011, kind of still at the beginning of all of our superhero, um, you know, extravaganzas. Iron Man had come out in 2008. We still had like we said, X-Men Origins Wolverine in 2009. Of course, Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy was doing pretty well, and so this was Warner Brothers thinking, oh well, if they can make Iron Man successful, let's take one of our kind of third tier characters and not Superman, not Batman. Let's do Green Lantern and see if we can make him like an Iron Man, make him popular. So I did some research on it because I was interested in kind of the origins of it. So it is based off of Jeff Johns' Secret Origins Green Lantern story, or bits and pieces of it.
I was going to say it borrows heavily, and somebody had mentioned it here.
And other
Matt did. So Matt said it borrows from 2004's Rebirth and 2008 Secret Origin.
Yeah.
It absolutely borrows from the retcon that Rebirth gave us. It absolutely borrows from Secret Origins. It absolutely borrows from Sinestro Corps War. And those are rated some of the best comic books of all time, whether it's DC or Marvel. So what went wrong?
Yes. Justin said the scientist who's corrupted by Parallax. Hector Hammond is a character in the comics. Yeah.
He's got a big head in the comics as well.
Yeah, but he starts out more attractive. Not that Peter Skarsgård is not an attractive man, but they made him look so ugly in the beginning for some reason. We'll get there.
Because he had a mustache and he was creepy and he liked smelling girls' hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk.
Yeah,
go ahead and.
What's interesting is this film. Basically, it started out. So if you see the credits, Greg Berlanti is one of the writers on this, and we all know him as the main producer behind all of the CW shows that have become such a hit.
Mark Guggenheim is one of the writers too, but he also. There was a lot of rewrites with this movie.
There was. So around 2009, DC decided to take Berlanti off the project and reassigned him to the movie This Is Where I Leave You to direct. And they wanted to bring him in. They wanted to bring in Martin Campbell, who's done James Bond twice, and he also did Zorro. And they felt, well, he can reboot these things, these franchises, then maybe he could come in and take this material off the ground. But he doesn't have a lot of, background with CGI work or anything like that, which that's not necessarily means he's going to be a bad thing, but they had good intentions, I guess, going into it. I'm sure they learned their lesson from here.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is when we watch this movie, this is the theatrical cut. Apparently, there was a director's cut or an extended cut, but we didn't watch that because
it wasn't on HBO Now, and I'm not buying it.
That's why. Yes, that's why.
I mean,
all right,
come on, guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, so there was a lot of issues on set that we kind of find out about always after the fact, right? When a movie goes down and it's kind of has issues. Rewrites, they brought a lot of people in to rewrite the film. In addition, Martin Campbell wanted Bradley Cooper to play Hal Jordan, not Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I remember like Tom Cruise was
well, basically it is Tom Cruise from Top Gun. Come on now.
It was like Nathan Fillion. All these names were being dropped. Bradley Cooper and Tom Cruise. Those were, I remember, the three in the big running. And then out of nowhere, we had Ryan Reynolds, right? And Ryan Reynolds, to me, during this time, and I still kind of have my things about Ryan Reynolds, but he's a very comedic actor. Now, I know he's done serious roles.
Like Buried,
like Buried, but I don't know. To me, he shines in the comedic.
Yeah, that's why Deadpool is such a success. Yeah, or any of
because a lot of it has to do with him.
Yes.
So, who was the girl? Was that
Blake Lively?
Oh my gosh!
Which then becomes his wife, which is adorable off screen. I appreciate all of that for my pop cultureness.
Okay.
But that became, there's a lot of issues on set. Apparently, there was clash between Ryan Reynolds and Martin Campbell. They did a lot of reshoots in 2011, early 2011 before the movie came out in theaters. I believe it came out in the summer, and they did a bunch of shoots in January. And then they decided to convert to 3D last minute because when did Avatar came out? Was that 2009 too?
Yeah, but it was like early 2009. I think it
Yeah,
wasn't.
so everyone's trying to, get in on
Yeah,
the 3D action.
I paid $13 to go see this movie. So
I don't want to think. I don't know how much I paid to see this movie.
it was
Probably $13. I mean, I was in Arkansas at the time.
oh man.
I
So
know.
it kicks off this movie
Kicks
has
off a lot like Secret Origins, right? Where you have
no,
Amnosaur.
I was gonna say it kicks off like Lord of the Rings with
Yes,
a
yes.
narration
An
from
Australian.
what's his name?
Jeffrey Rush.
Robin oh gosh, the fish kept Robin Tay. Oh gosh, I cannot remember his name. But anyway,
Tomar
Tomar.
Ray. Yeah.
Oh, look at you! You remembered.
Played
Yeah.
by the voice by Jeffrey Rush. Because I was like, wait, were they playing the actual characters? No, they were completely CGI. But
Well, yeah, because he was a little skinny dude. But
yeah, exactly. Jeffrey Rush is
it
awesome.
was so strange to have a narration about the origin of the Green Lantern.
Especially because then about halfway through the movie later, it's explained all over again. So we're getting it not once but twice. In case us moviegoers forgot what the Green Lanterns are, we get it in the beginning.
Thank you.
Then we get it halfway through when they're going through his training sequence. And yeah, go on.
And then we meet Hal Jordan of Earth. He's a hothead pilot. He's kind of a douchebag. Never really outgrows that. He stays a douchebag the entire time. And we meet Carol Ferris, who her father owns this private
It's a aircraft company, government contracting company, because they work with Senator Hammond, played by Tim Robbins. And all I kept getting were a lot of flashbacks of like the Iron Man with Jeff Bridges playing this, like, get me a famous actor who's old and kind of, renowned. Tim Robbins is like a Jeff Bridges. Good enough. Let's do that.
I love Tim Robbins. I think
But
he's a
he
great
doesn't
actor.
have Tony Stark made this in a K. Like, they don't have that line.
Okay. No, he wasn't that angry.
No, he never was that angry.
So, and then on the opposite end, we meet Hector Hammond, who
later on in the film.
No, I think it starts off right after the crash, right? They bring him in right after the crash, because during this time at the beginning, like, it's so weird. Like, the script is all over the place. Ryan Reynolds is flying a plane, Hal Jordan is flying a plane, and he looks at a Polaroid picture of him and his dad, and just like that, you're supposed to be emotionally attached to his dad, who ends up passing away because of an airplane crash, and that kind of gives him some PTSD.
Yeah.
And he ejects, he destroys this plane, people are upset with him. They're like, man, you made us lose our job, you wasted like millions of dollars. And he was like, yeah, man, whatever, I'm fucking Hal Jordan, I don't care, whatever. And then he goes on a ride and finds an alien.
Yeah.
Which is every single retelling of the Silver Age Hal Jordan story. Alien gives him the power. He's a dying alien. He said, this is the ring, and you are going to be the ring bearer. You have the will to become a Green Lantern. Just say the oath. It becomes this little cheesy thing where he's like, I don't know the oath. It's Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
Eventually he becomes Green Lantern. I don't even know how to talk about this movie. Because there's not really a lot.
And you see him use the ring in kind of like, funny ways, beating up the guys who were, mad at him for ruining their chances with that contract. And then he uses the ring and accidentally hits them with a big fist. And then he, is in space. Then there's a training montage kind of in the middle there where you get, Kilowog, played by Michael Clark Duncan, and
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Jeffrey Rush, Tomar Ray. You get to see the OA. You get to see all these, this huge Green Lantern Corps, and introduce to Sinestro, which is played by Mark Strong, which I think is one of the stronger points of the film. Is
either him or Blake Lively are the best parts about this movie.
Yes, though and it's not her fault, but the way it's written, I'll get to a part that I was like, why is she so upset by this? She has no, like, what is, but we'll get to
What's
that
up?
in a
Oh
second.
no, the whole thing's a mess. What's up, comic book crazy? How's it going,
Hey,
brother?
comic book crazy.
Um, Mousy. Yes, I know. But then it wouldn't be fun if we didn't break it down, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I
and,
love
and
I love Christopher Nolan films, but let's face it, every one of his goddamn films has a plot hole that wouldn't make any sense. But in the end, I end up liking them. So
and same with
overall
the Marvel
project, I
movies.
think, is that yeah, Marvel movies are the same way. But some projects
I'm
have
not
a
out of Yingling. I just chose
big.
wine tonight, highlighter.
They were keeping up with what you were drinking last night.
I'm very impressed. Um,
So
no,
yeah,
it's not
they
that.
go, he goes to Oa. They
Yes,
train for like I don't know 5 minutes.
and he's like,
Like,
meh, I don't want to do it.
like and right, that was one of my biggest issues. He was like, "Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
I can't
gone.
do it.
Like, I don't want to do this. This isn't for me. You guys have fun."
Yes,
So
he is
he
a little tense.
quits
Like, no
without
responsibility.
like any purpose, just other than the fact that he's a douchebag and he's like, "Yeah, I don't." So this
Yeah,
is the guy that is representing humanity as the bearer of the sector, and he's like, I don't want to do this. It's not for me. So he goes back to Earth to hang out with his friend, who is
Taika Waititi. Wait, is that what we were talking about? I was
yeah,
like, wait a minute, what is he doing in this film? I mean, he wasn't on my radar in 2011, and I was like, he must have took a lot of like notes. This is not how you make a superhero movie in space because his is way better.
and honestly, I wish, and I'll talk about what I wish had come out of this
Yes,
movie. Um, so we'll save that for later. And during this time, about halfway through the film, you find out that he actually knew Hector Hammond and Carol
and
out of
yes,
nowhere. They're like, "Oh, hey man, how
we're
how are
all
you
friends
doing?"
for a long time.
And Carol, like, first of all, they don't look anything like the same age at all. Like, I think she was in her 20s, and they all
Yep.
look like they're in their 30s. Not, but anyway, yeah, okay, sure. We're led to believe that everybody knows each other. Hector's always had this competing thing with Hal.
Which we don't get until this very moment. And now keep in mind, there's one part we left out, whereas we are introduced to Hector, and he has been tasked because his father is the senator to basically study the dead Abnasur and his aircraft and everything. And of course, we know in the beginning of the movie, some of that fear juice apparently gets inside of him,
Instead,
and it gets inside of Hector, and it starts giving him powers, which is not how he gets his powers in the actual, but it's fine if it's not like the comics. But
no,
um,
it's completely fine. I'm okay with getting away from the comics and focusing on your own thing, but it's just so weird and not explained, and everything.
yeah,
And if it is explained, it's literally explained like a few seconds before the actual thing happens.
yes,
Oh, this thing is made of fear, then this is what drives away fear. So, oh, Adam is saying the extended cut shows them as
it
kids
does.
together.
I read
Okay.
that. Yes, it does. So it gives you a little bit more backstory for them, which I'm sure helps that little bit out.
Wait, I didn't see any competition between Hal and Heck. It was over what's her name? It was over Carol. The way he
Yeah,
was looking at
clearly the
Carol.
way he looked at Carol, he had a thing for her, which is true in the comics. He had a thing for Carol in a
Well,
super stalking
not
way.
the way he looked at her, the way he sniffed her hair as he gave her. Look, let me tell you something right now. If anybody's sniffing your hair while they're giving you a hug, get the hell away. 6-foot rule. Like, no,
6 foot. We're not just talking about social distancing during a
no.
pandemic. We're
Just
talking in general.
get the hell
Just
away from that
leave
dude.
him away from
Please.
you. Just do it.
But yeah, so he's doing experiments on that, and then he gets these powers, and Amanda Waller makes
Appearance, Angela
which is
Bassett.
which is Angela Bassett. My goodness,
She's still amazing, no matter what she's in.
absolutely. So
Keep going. I love your. This is Joe Biden.
oh, I had to highlight that one. Look at you, Joe Biden. Nathan Fillion in the Green Lantern reboot.
Make it happen,
Oh,
Omar.
well, I have some bad news about that. Amanda said that he's too old for.
Why are we bringing that up? It is so like.
It was Uncharted. It was
Well,
Uncharted. So.
funny thing about Uncharted.
What's the funny thing?
This is totally not on topic, but since we're bringing it up,
What I
with
do?
Sony's all their with their announcement, all their new dates, they had to push Uncharted back from its original release date, which would have been March of 2021, and now I think it's gonna be later, like in June or something like that, which makes sense because, like, Tom Holland in one of his Instagram stories said he literally. Actually, it wasn't an Instagram story. It's like a call he did with Justin Bieber, which I don't know why. He said he was literally in
I don't know
Berlin
why you would know this.
shoot. I know. He was ready to shoot Uncharted, and then they're like, "Nope, you got to go back. We got to go back. Everyone's quarantining." So, yeah. Anyways, if anyone want an update on Uncharted, that's where we're at, guys.
They can voice Hal not in the live action movie. He did voice him in that Green Lantern CG movie.
That's right.
Which was awesome. What if Nathan Fillion is a Golden Age Green Lantern? Now we're talking.
Hey,
Little
that'd
Alan.
be cool.
Now we're talking. Just
whatever, Justin. I know he's gonna be 50.
She ain't gonna wait till
I will
he's
be
50.
50 years old one day.
She ain't gonna wait till he's 50.
Not attractive.
Oh, don't say that.
Oh well. Anyway, so let's get.
All right, so I do want to talk about this, so let's make sure we bring this up right now.
Okay.
After we give our review.
Yeah. Sure.
So Hal's back on Earth. Hector's getting powers, and he threatens to.
And he can hear people's thoughts now, and he's upset because his dad is clearly an asshole, and so he uses his powers to take his helicopter down. So Hal's forced to use his own powers as the Green Lantern, and save Carol's life
for the first time, by the way. Other than
Yes.
knocking out those dudes with a super fist and training Anoa.
And training with Kilowog, yeah.
With making a Gatling gun. Whatever. He makes a racetrack. A racetrack. I remember that. Actually, I do remember that part of the movie. I'm like...
Yes. It was such a weird...
The power of will. We're going to spend 2 minutes on this.
This racetrack that's keeping the... Yeah, there could have been so many other ways.
It was interesting, but... Okay, whatever.
Better done CGI moments, I guess, out of everything.
No.
If you have to compare. I mean, compared to, like, the characters and the suit and the mask. Like, I didn't understand why his eyes change colors when he puts the mask on, but that... Like, dude, they're not that bright blue. As soon as it go on, it's like, bam.
I remember in the movie theater, I was like, this movie's so disjointed that I thought I was missing a scene, or I fell asleep, where he's sitting there and he's showing his friend Taiti Watiti his power, right? He's like, let me show you, I'm going to be Green Lantern. And it's, Ryan Reynolds flexing, and he's like, wham, I'm Green Lantern. And he's like, whoa, you're Green Lantern. And out of nowhere, he delivers this line that's like, hey, doesn't the hero always get the girl? And then the next shot is him flying over to Carol's house. And I was like, what?
Where did that came out of nowhere, right?
Like I felt like I missed something.
Were they having a conversation about him and Carol? Like, never did I see, like, them have a conversation about Carol before that would imply that he needs to go see Carol. And then they have, like, a Superman Lois Lane kind of scene.
I do appreciate this part is, for the first time in comic book history movies, Carol is smart enough to be like, oh, it's Hal. Like, she looks at him, he's got a mask on, she's like, I've seen you naked, I know it's you, Hal.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
let's take this awful mask off then.
Surprise! It's Hal Jordan.
Okay, this is the part where I was like, I don't understand her. Like, so in this part, they have a conversation. He tells her about the Green Lantern Corps and how he can't, how he gave up and he doesn't want to do it. And she starts crying and getting really, really angry.
That's what I mean.
Really, she just knows nothing about this whole thing. And I get if she's like, oh, you're just shirking responsibilities again. But, like, that really makes her upset. She knows him so much by now. What makes her think that he would do something different?
I'll tell you what, and it's something that my boy here keeps asking. Did Jeff Johns get amnesia? So what happened, Amanda was talking about earlier, is that there were so many rewrites, you had so many people's input into this movie that the script was a disjointed mess.
I don't even think Jeff Johns had much of an impact on the screenplay, to be honest. They used his story, but Greg Berlanti, Mark Guggenheim were the original writers, and then they moved Berlanti off as a director, they brought in a bunch of other people. Mark Williams, I think, is one of the names I saw, to come in and do a rewrite of
And
this.
it feels like a bunch of people writing
And
this
that's the
movie,
problem.
because at times, other than the consistency of him being a douchebag the entire time, man, that was so weird. Can we talk about the disappearing construct
You're right.
necklace? I was like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, can she keep that necklace? It goes away. Like, why would you make that? Like,
So the Guardians then bring him to Oa,
yep.
right? And let's see. Highlighters actually saying the Guardians bring him to Oa for discipline. How, Jordan, you are not to use the ring for your carnal pleasures. So, so there's a fight with Hector Hammond,
Yes.
like where he's threatening Carol. He's beating up Amanda Waller. I don't remember nor care that they kill Angela Bassett, or is she okay?
I think she's supposed to be okay, because I
think she's supposed to be okay.
About
Well,
her
she's in Suicide Squad, but
well, yeah, but I think there was talk about Amanda Waller being in more movies if this was going to take off the way they hoped it would. And then they have this weird scene where
usually, usually when that happens, it's just a check, man. It's like, hey,
on it
here, thank you so much for being an inspiration for this movie. Here's your check. And he has no say whether, I guess he could say, take my name off of that movie like Alan Moore and keep your damn check. But at the time, it's really hard to do that when you work for WB and DC.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
there's a fight.
That first fight. Then they go back and have a brief interlude with Taika Waititi's character.
Yes.
To talk about what they should do and Hal's responsibility again.
Right? Wait, we didn't even talk about the family that's thrown in there out of nowhere, right? And unless you read the comic books, you're like, okay, that's his brother. Family, right? Oh, there's his nephew, and his nephew's like, oh, hey, Uncle Hal. And I'm like, okay, obviously they have a connection.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's all. Never bring him back up again.
I thought we'd see that. I thought maybe he'd use the nephew later on as like bait, not Carol, but maybe something else. But never again we see them.
If you're an editor of this film that's splicing it together, why don't you just cut that out? Like, would they just rush to get it out? We got to make the 3D happen. Who cares?
Exactly.
So yeah, they fight. He wins, and then it's not over because for some reason, this fucking movie has everything good that made Green Lantern great. Instead of padding it out into different movies, they were like, nope, we're going to put it all in there. So Parallax, whose origin is really strange in the movie.
Yes.
And designed reminds me and gives me PTSD of fucking Silver Surfer in the Galactus Cloud.
I mean, he's just any old cloud of smoke monster-esque. There's no real design to him at all. And I mean, compared to like when you see Parallax in the actual comics, and it's, this bug-like creature that could be really cool design, but they just went with,
oh my god, is
this Dormammu looks like, but they could just get away with it because that scene was so good with Doctor Strange. I almost forget that Dormammu was basically the same thing, but
a big floating head. Apparently,
head thing over the sky. Yeah, that's like I could forget about it because at least they had the the dying sequences over and over again.
So apparently in 2004, Jack Black was set to star in an earlier pitch as an action comedy.
Oh god, I can't even imagine what that would have looked like. Yeah, they had a lot of iterations.
I think I would have loved that. I would have loved that more.
Me too, because it's Jack Black. After seeing what he's done with the Jumanji films, I forgot he's quite a funny dude.
Oh, yeah, he's always been a funny guy. But
Gullible Travels aside.
So the Green Lantern's coming to help. This is the thing that they fear the most, that feeds off of fear, and there's a fight.
And there's a whole thing about you don't have to be afraid. I don't understand because I don't think Hal was ever afraid. Like,
yeah, like I said, everything is explained literally on a platter. Like, here's the plot.
And Hector Hammond's not afraid. He's just jealous. So I don't get it. It was all about fear, and
so they fight. He takes him up into space. Yep. He says the Green Lantern oath, which always gets me, but for some reason didn't in this time. And he punches him into the sun.
Yeah.
punches him. With all the will and the imagination of humanity, he makes a giant fist. That's a Guy Gardner move. But at least Guy Gardner would have made a giant Guy Gardner
To
with a
punch him in the
fist.
face.
Yes. And Parallax dies. And the movie ends. And then there's a post-credit scene. And I will say, in the movie theater, I was so bored out of my mind. But during that post-credit scene, I said, I will watch the shit out of a Sinestro movie as long as they keep Hal Jordan and everybody else in this movie out of it, with the exception of maybe Kilowog. But I will go and watch that.
But
And it never happened.
but see, the thing is, the problem I had is you never get the idea that Sinestro, like,
I don't care, but I'm a
I
comic
know,
book guy.
I
But
know,
in the movie, it didn't make any
Sinestro
sense, right? Out of
doesn't
nowhere,
because
in the
he's
middle of the movie, he's like, "Oh, now we need to have our yellow ring," and then you're like, "Wait, what? Where did that come from? What's happening?" That escalated quickly,
because he
and
never
then
really becomes like you never get the sense he's going to be a truly bad guy. But I thought him and Hal were on their way to being buds now, and all of a sudden, nope. Now he's gonna. What happened?
a lot of things should have happened. A lot of little quick fixes would have made this movie better. How do you mess up a franchise that could have been as good for your company as Iron Man was for Marvel? Because really, the story of Green Lantern, or Iron Man, actually, is similar to the story of Green Lantern. He's a simple dude from Earth that is inherited these powers by not outside forces, right?
Yes.
And that makes him super. He's not himself a superhero. Like he himself doesn't have powers. He wasn't born with these abilities. But the fact that these things happen in their lives that kind of gives them crutches also makes them a superhero.
Yes.
How do you mess that up? On top of that, you had two of the biggest stories you're borrowing from,
I know.
and you
And they brought
put
it back down to
you
earth, which I
throw
didn't
it all together.
like.
Oh, dude, this movie
Yeah,
could have
I
been
was
so
really
much better. I remember going in the movie theater. I'm not the biggest Ryan Reynolds fan. I'm not gonna lie, unless he's doing a comedy like Van Wilder or whatever. And I've been a fan of Ryan Reynolds since 15. For any Canadian watchers knows what that is. But anyway, I remember going in with like, okay, this is not gonna be anything like the comic books. And there was so much they could have done, right?
Mhm.
I remember doing the Oa scene. I'm like, this is what I want to see. Yes, it was really shitty green screen CG, but
Yes.
some of them look okay. Mark Strong was fucking awesome as
And he was one of the few that was, and that's because at least there was some practical, right? His face and stuff. I'm assuming that was some makeup, not all CG.
yeah, like he had little things on his face.
Yeah, whereas obviously, you know, Kilowog, which this day and age they could probably do a lot better. But even
Yeah,
at that time, I think about Lord
I
of the
do.
Rings, some of
I do
the
like Deadpool.
monster designs they had to use. You're right, Philip. He is no Paul Rudd.
There it is.
Paul Rudd is America's sweetheart. So everyone loves Paul Rudd.
If they had honestly spent this movie with Hector Hammond and him just training in Oa, that would have, been okay with maybe hints of something bigger coming, with maybe hints of the yellow. If he had been buddy with Sinestro to break that,
like a buddy cop kind of movie where he's like that Lethal Weapon, like good cop, like
yeah,
something along those
I'm
lines.
too old. Sinestro
But
thing. I'm too old for this
yeah.
shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if they had done that, focus on just character development and actually giving him a purpose instead of making him a complete bag from beginning to end.
He never really, I feel like, learned a lesson or anything.
It would have made for a better movie, I think. Like, at least to me. And
Yes.
I don't know crap about making movies, but I do know that when you put too much story into a movie, looking at you, Spider-Man 3, looking at you, X-Men Last Stand,
Yes.
worst comic book movie ever. But dude, like, you put too much into a movie, then you lose the focus of anything. And that's what happened with this. The CG was a mess. It could have been better. There were aspects that I enjoyed. I like the idea of like the projection of a suit, like a CG suit. Makes sense because that's the way it is in the comics.
Yeah, and they did that with Spider-Man's Iron Man suit. It had to be.
Well, we've come
We come a long way, but it's possible. But there's I've seen different videos and stuff where they talk about making a good CGI suit, like fully CGI. And they talk about texture and things like that. And I feel like that's what this suit was missing. A lot of that aspect that could have made it
practical effects with CG go a long way.
But then again, I mean, like you said, your friend, I mean, they didn't have a lot of time and they were kind of rushed to get it done, right? And get it the way it wanted. And I read the original drafts actually had Legion as the villain, and they changed it to Parallax in the final draft.
Do they have any Manhunters or anything? I was curious to see what the original draft was like.
I tried to look if I see anything from Berlanti if he had ever talked about it.
What did you like about the movie? Like I said, I like Mark Strong. Blake Lively was hot.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have good chemistry. Mark Strong for me as a Sinestro was good. I liked him. Mm-hmm. Tim Robbins is just a poor man's Jeff Bridges. In this movie, playing that type of role. Okay.
Okay.
Type of role.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just didn't like Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern. I really wanted to, on second watch, I really wanted to say, you know what? Ryan Reynolds could have done he's really good. He's fine. It's okay. It's not his fault. But I don't know if he was the right person for this role.
I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think so. I think he really suits a certain type of character. There are times that he can't just stop being Ryan Reynolds, and it fits fine for characters like Deadpool. He is perfect. But when he was I don't know, I can't take him seriously, right? It's so weird. It's you get used to these characters or actors that you cast for certain roles, and you know what to expect. I mean, I expect Jack Nicholson to be Jack Nicholson in every role he gets.
100%. Just like you expect John Krasinski to be Jim every time on screen. I know how you big difference.
But people really like him. And
yeah. Oh, by the way, shout out to Charlie. I see he's on the chat. Nerdy by nature.
Yeah. Charlie says it had a lot of potential. I like Mark Strong. I love the few minutes that know. I like the designs of the Guardians. I like how long the robes were. Yes. That was really cool.
Yeah, and said Blake Lively is a random actress. I don't think she was random at the time because I believe what's that show on the CW that had just come out that she was Gossip Girls. Gossip Girls was out, and I believe.
Are you murdering a child?
Oh, sorry. My cousin's dog came in with this thing.
He wants your attention. I wasn't typecasting, man. It's serious. I mean, Jack Nicholson, whenever they cast him on something, they know what they're getting. And I'm not saying it's bad. I enjoy the shit out of him. But let's be honest. I mean, Jack Nicholson as Joker is just Jack Nicholson with makeup. So, right? Gossip Girl. So Dom knows. Dom knows what's up.
Yeah, Gossip Girl's probably why she was casted in that role. And Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. That had also come out for anyone who was a younger female at the time who would have wanted to see that. It's a great book. Ann Bashir is the writer.
Thank you. Shout out, Ann Bashir. Thank you. Thank you for that. She was 2010. Philip Evans. I think he had a thought.
She was the girl probably in 2010, I imagine.
He did say Poozer, and that got me. I remember saying, I was like, all right.
Yeah, he made this comment at the end, though. He's like, I trained him. I was like, did you, though? I mean, for like, what, 5? Like, I did you train him?
5 minutes of
training. You really spent any time with this guy. Like,
Omar owns all the seasons of Gossip Girl. I do. Shut up. You know what I own.
Uber collector. He probably does.
I do not collect Uber stuff. Omar, I know it's OT, but what are your feelings about the comic industry right now? Death Spiral or will come out just fine? It will be different, but I think things are going to be okay.
Yes.
They're not as bad as I'm sure people make it out to be.
At least in the Town. Are you talking about the Ben Affleck, Casey Affleck movie?
It was the Ben Affleck directed movie, right? The Town? Yeah. Was she in that?
I think she was, actually. I think she was Casey Affleck's like girlfriend or something. I could be wrong.
I mean, yeah, but I think Jack Nicholson can't act any other way. But
Yeah.
it works. It does. It absolutely does, and it works for a lot of actors that way. It's the companies know what they're getting when they hire certain people, and that's completely cool if it works for them. I feel like most superhero movies are similar quality. The oversaturation of a genre has kind of ruined it. When movies gross so much money, there's a lot of at stake, so they tend to play it
Yes.
safe, and they do that right
And
by
that's yeah.
casting people that you're familiar with, and then a
Instead of
lot of this.
unknowns to give them a chance. I mean, and that's what this movie did. They could have made it so much more. They said, let's play it safe. So I was trying to figure out when Thor came out. See, Thor came out in May of 2011, and then Green Lantern came out in June. And I think they were trying to go for this origin story where let's not take it to space because people wouldn't like that. Let's bring it to Earth because that seems to be what's successful for Marvel. And let's do the same old origin story. Let's stick with a formula that people seem to like. And that's why I think that harmed it a lot in when they did the rewrites.
Yeah, I think but let's be fair though. Thor didn't get a lot of love when he came out, like critically, right? I remember the reason I went to see it was because a friend of mine said it's like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe with a budget, and I was like, sold. That's what I want to see. And then of course
Oh
you
no,
have
it got
no,
decent
it made
ratings.
money.
No,
It
it
made
made
a
money.
lot of money, but
Yeah,
I
and
don't
it
think it
did
was
so
highly praised, right?
let me see what box office.
I don't remember, but I don't remember a lot of people going, "You gotta go see Thor," like I did when people walked out of like Guardians of the Galaxy or movies like that, like highly praised, or Iron Man for that matter.
Yeah.
When Iron Man 1 came out, they were like, "You gotta go see Iron Man." It's like one of the best things ever. But um, Jack's got mad range. Check him out as good as it gets. Departed, Chinatown, Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, you really getting them on that. You should not have mentioned Jack Nicholson.
My wife loves Jack Nicholson, and we love those movies. And she's seen, except with the exception of Chinatown, she doesn't like Chinatown that much, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Young Jack with old Jack. I don't know, man. He's almost like the same character in The Departed and is as good as it gets. I see what you're saying, but okay, so he's saying Thor was hella mixed when he came out, from what I believe. Just Hemsworth walking around in flannel
Yeah.
for 2 hours.
I just remember some people, praising the very Shakespearean aspects of it, thanks to Kevin Branagh, who's the director. When I remember reading reviews, which is mostly, I was reading a lot of Entertainment Weekly reviews at the time, so that's what they're, I think maybe Owen Gleiberman or Lisa Schwartzman probably said. But it got like a 70 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's 77%. As far as when it came out, so not a terrible score by any means. Not certified fresh, I guess.
Okay. No, you're good. You're good, Bob. You're good,
Yeah,
brother.
no problem.
So, because he said good points, I would add that truly make a brilliant superhero movie. We need an amateur director with complete creative control who
And
knows
that's
the source
really
material, and that rarely happens.
yeah.
Actually, what they've done lately, at least for Marvel, they've hired a lot of indie directors and taken a chance with them,
Yeah,
right?
think about Taika Waititi. Before he did Thor Ragnarok, he was in Green Lantern. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, he had done some
What
movies
We
in
Do in
New
the
Zealand
Shadows
himself,
and
right?
yeah, New Zealand. Yeah.
So
Um,
before we go any further, though, is there
yes.
anything else you want to add about the movie before we give our final rating? And anybody that's watching or anybody that wants to comment later, please feel free. We're going to rate this out of 10.
Just I
Amanda, what
oh,
would you
okay.
give Green Lantern
Oh, I
2011?
was gonna go for my final thought
Oh,
on
my
the
bad.
movie.
My
But no,
bad.
it's fine. We can just go
No,
to
no,
rate.
no. Give me your final thought.
Yeah, they could have, I just wish they did so much more with this film because I like Green Lantern and I would have wanted to see something different. I would have wanted to see a character with a little bit more drive and something, more character development. And I just feel like that was the biggest disappointment of all. I can get away with, I can forgive bad CGI and all that stuff. But when it comes out to it, the character development was so lacking, it just was disappointing. So, okay, with that in mind, are we doing it out of 10? Is that what we're rating it?
Let's do it out of 10. Yeah.
Okay. I would probably, I don't remember what I gave Fantastic Four, but I'd probably give this like
Doesn't matter.
2.5 out of 10.
That's exactly what I was going to give it. 2.5.
It
Because
has a
to me,
core of
to me,
4.
I I can lose myself in a movie if at least I care about the characters, but I didn't care about none of them had any drive. And even as strong as the performance that Mark Strong gave, right?
Ooh,
Right.
nice. Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
it didn't save the movie because he was hardly in it. And
Right,
even
was it?
he himself was served really no purpose. And and Hal Jordan is one of my
Instead
favorite
of the
characters.
character.
The story of Green Lantern is one of my favorite characters. And yes, we are only rating the theatrical cut. We have not seen the director's cut, but
Because we watched what we could find for free
yeah,
on
and
HBO
I
Now.
didn't want to pay money to get the director's cut. So for me, 2.5 as well. I wish it could have been more. It fell flat on its face with that horrible script and just bad
Yeah,
editing, and
same.
it seems like nobody cared, and they rushed this thing out with the hopes that, "Oh,
And the
people
sad
are
thing
stupid and they'll watch superhero movies."
is when you look back, like, you think about Greg Berlanti, right, who was the original one of the him and Mark Guggenheim, some of the original writers.
And I like Mark Guggenheim. Mark Guggenheim's
Yeah,
written a lot of st don't both of them do Arrow
they
now?
both and I think about the character development and all that stuff in Arrow and the Flash, and yes, it can be hokey because it's a CW shows, and they have to abide by, the FCC and all these things,
6
right?
5. Yep, I'm just, highlighting some of the
Pilot,
ratings.
yeah, but
2
I
and
think
2 and a 5, not a
what were you missing, Warner Brothers? What were
That's
you
true.
missing with like they just took I don't know what the original script would have looked like, but it's got to be better than what this ended up to be
So
because who's
Brian
in
likes it.
charge of it. Oh,
Brian
Brian
likes
did like. Oh yeah, you're right. Brian was saying a lot of stuff that he did
Yeah,
like it.
and that's awesome. If people really like it, awesome. Good, good. That's good. These are just popularly
Yes,
rated bad. But
we're
I
just
mean,
taking into account. Yes.
we all have our guilty pleasures. I have a lot of
Oh, I've
guilty pleasures. I
tons of
know
bad.
Amanda does. I think like 90% of her movies that she likes.
I
Uh,
pretty much like everything that Omar does not like. We disagree on a lot of
we
things.
disagree on a lot of things. Yes, and I'm forced to go watch some of these
Holland,
movies.
John Krasinski, Paul Rudd is definite one. He does not like Paul Rudd at all.
I don't shut up. I didn't say I don't like him at all. I met him.
Mm.
I met him. If I said hi.
But really, did you meet him as much as I met him?
No,
I
you
told
wouldn't
him
let him.
good
You
luck
would not let him go.
on Endgame.
You did,
I
which was
wouldn't let
really
him
weird.
go.
He was like, this crazy bitch doesn't think that, like, does she know the difference between like reality and movies? Which was awesome. Ang Lee, I would give a 3. Now that's one we would probably go revisit because that is in the top 20 worst rated movies, which is Ang Lee's Hulk. Amanda and Omar, what are your thoughts on my earlier question?
You're
Do you mind asking that again? Because I'm trying to go back, and this only lets me go back
gonna
so far. But yeah, if y'all have questions, please leave them in the chat. Repo Man was
Is it
awesome.
this one? Do you think now that the Infinity Saga is over, do you think comic book movies, especially MCU, has hit their peak and will slowly lose popularity? Is that the question?
Is this your question, Justin? This one here? Paul Rudd is in that. Look what you did. How could you not like Paul Rudd? Omar, Paul Rudd's an Asheville. Look at you turning people against me.
Okay.
So it is a question.
To be honest, Omar and I off screen have had a lot of conversations about this, whether or not has the MCU lost its, now they have to start basically all over from scratch in a way, without the Infinity Saga. Is this going to affect their popularity? It depends on the movies that come out. It depends on the quality of the movies that come out, in my opinion, because there's still a hype. People are still, we're left with so much time between Endgame and, well, more time between Black Widow at least, because now that's not coming out for a while.
Well, and everything is getting pushed back.
And everything's going to get pushed back probably as a result from that, including the TV shows. And we know there's a lot of hype over the TV shows, particularly. That has not waned. So I don't think there's going to be a loss of popularity. Will we see the amount that we saw leading up to Endgame, where we have $3 billion worldwide gross? I don't know if we'll see that again, but I think we'll see substantial gain. We'll still see the same, decent box office sums overall when the time comes. Unless they start producing, or unless they start missing the mark. Truly, if we get a bunch of Ant-Man the Wasp and Iron Man 2s in a row, then yeah, maybe we're going to see some issues. going forward. But it just depends on the quality. If Kevin Feige is willing to keep taking risks on directors and actors, and not keep doing the same formula. I mean, I think it was smart of them, with Spider-Man. I know that's partly Sony, but let's face it, they're mostly the MCU or Kevin Feige, to not even touch the origin story again. Just, we know he already has powers. We don't need to see it played out. To see how they let James Gunn, handle Guardians of the Galaxy, Taika Waititi with Thor Ragnarok, even the Russo brothers with the Infinity War and Endgame and Winter Soldier, just letting them turn them into genre films. And so I think it just all depends on what we see come out of the pike as far as quality.
Awesome Gamer said he liked the Green Lantern movie. Good. Then Brian likes the Green Lantern movie as well. Brian, by the way, I did mention Invincible, so we'll get to it sometime this year. Promise. On Old Reader, New Reader.
Yes. So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, one of the things I was going to add is, I don't know if you can ever recapture that magic that was Avengers, first of all, because that magic wasn't ever recaptured again. The original Avengers. Yes, Endgame was amazing and it did well, but you can't recapture. Never in the history of cinema has there ever been a comic book formula of 4 movies leading into one event. Never in the history of cinema. And they did it again with Endgame, so it took the formula but put it into a bigger scale. But recapturing that magic again, I mean, what do you do? Well, we can do the same thing. We can do a cosmic part of it and make Annihilation
together,
right? But as far as recapturing that magic of the first time that you're like, oh my God, all of this is leading into this.
Together. That's going to be, because now we expect it, right? So we're expecting this to happen. So any shortfall of it will be a disappointment, and that's where you can see some people waning. Comic Book Crazy, yes, I am sponsoring Kentucky. We have an awesome governor, and
there you go.
KY.
Is he sponsoring us?
I don't know.
No, shut the hell up about Andy Bashir.
Yeah, by 2022, I think MCU will have another. I mean, at this point, getting to $1 billion seems like.
Good, brother.
Yes, by Comic Book Crazy. I think that getting to $1 billion is not, for certain films, is not as hard as it used to be anymore. It seems like a lot of films are getting to $1 billion these days. I mean, even Frozen 2 got to $1 billion, and it's not as good as the first one.
Not if they're going to be streaming. Just saying, if Black Widow and Wonder Woman come out on streaming, they're not going to break any box office records. So Joss Whedon, I completely agree with you. But to me, and I've told Amanda this, and I've said it many times on the show, I think that they wrote a better. He had a better script dialogue than the Russo brothers did. I love the Russo brothers stories more, but Joss Whedon had the more memorable lines. Whereas the Russo brothers, I mean, how many quotes can you name from just Avengers, right? The very first one. And like, as far as I Am Iron Man, that's really borrowing from the original Iron Man. But anyway, I agree with that statement.
All about bringing it back. No, it's not KY jelly, guys. It's Kentucky.
I was gonna make that joke. But
no one said Professor Hulk was my favorite part about Endgame. I don't know.
Russo's brothers don't write, Marcus and McFeely.
But
they're directing it, and they also get, like, much like Joss Whedon, he gets to overlook the script and tweak it a little bit. And you can tell when it's Whedon tweaking the script.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, as someone who's a fan of all of his shows and things like that, when it's a Whedon film. You can see that in Justice League. I mean, when they did that.
Chad Omnidog. It's very nice to see Amanda on my screen again. Much love to both of you. You too, man. I'm glad you threw me in there too. That's very nice.
I agree. Bruce and Natasha were forced. That was not one of the better. That was not one of the better storylines in MCU.
That was off screen.
That was not one of the better ones.
That was off screen love. Quippy McQuipperton. Yes, but catchy, man. I love his dialogue. Dost thou mother know where it's a trip? Love that, man. Oh.
Yeah, some great lines.
That's my secret.
That's why
I love that.
Yeah, love to top that Avengers first film. But I mean, if we talk about it, Yeah, they'll have another billion-dollar film, guys, and it just depends on the quality of film coming out. I mean, I'm excited to see Black Widow because I hear they're gonna set up maybe the Thunderbolts, I hear.
What? No
Yeah,
shit.
I was listening to some leaks on from 4chan, which is what leaked the Infinity War script and the Endgame stuff. So
Yeah,
I
you love shit just being spoiled, don't you? You don't care if you tell
oh,
me
I
what.
love it, yeah. So
Yeah, she does.
spoilers if you guys did, but it could be false, I don't know. But I guess, some of the characters in Black Widow might be working for Thunderbolt Ross to obtain some information.
Oh wait, they're doing that Thunderbolts? The red Thunderbolts with the
Yeah, so we get
Punisher
the
and
Red Hulk.
Elektra? What? That's ridiculous. Whatever. But sure, I'll take
I
it.
don't think it's gonna be
Wait,
Punisher and Elektra, though.
4chan. I didn't even know 4chan was still around, honestly. But Amanda reads 4chan.
No,
Dude,
I
let me tell you, Amanda reads anything where she can get gossip. Like, her favorite place to
I
go is
don't.
"We Got This Covered." Like,
I
that's her
hate
favorite
we got
place.
this covered. No, no, I hate it. Just
April
like when
Fool.
everyone's like,
April
"Oh,
Fool.
they kicked Evangeline Lilly off of Ant-Man and the Wasp because of her comments about the
Oh, here,
COVID-19."
I'm gonna hear about it now. Let me hear
And
about it.
I was like, guys, you're like, no, it came from the rap, and they said it came from a reputable source. So we got this covered. Said they got it from a source that was right about this. But how do you know? Because they're usually wrong about everything else. It's all hearsay. Do not follow. We've got this covered. Are you kidding me? Why would they Why would they fire her or reduce her role over her own? Like they've already did this whole thing with Jeremy Renner's. Like everyone, like just calm down. Okay, stop making up lies. Just a few. Whew,
She's so riled up she can't get her camera under control.
I can't. I don't like the angle. I can't figure it out. Someone tell me what's the better angle.
Look, you want to put it like right under your chin so you're looking down like this. Wow, people love that. Just recast the Wasp. Yeah, recast her, man.
You need to do a video with John Campea. Yes, I do watch a lot of John
Or
Campea
the
stuff.
worst damn sites. They are.
They are. I don't
Didn't
believe
Red Thunderbolts have They had Deadpool, Elektra, Punisher, and eventually Ghost Rider.
it, but
It
those
was
aren't
a
going to be the
pretty.
people
It
that
was a
we're
pretty
talking about,
bad
though.
run.
I mean, you want to tell me who they're supposedly working for Thunderbolt? Do you want me to tell you who they say is working for
No, I
Thunderbolt?
want you to keep your damn mouth shut because I want to see the movie here in 3 months when we're watching it on your couch because it's going to be quarantine time for America. Because you're like, we'll be out and shopping in come June. I'm like, no, we're gonna be.
Thinking because I have a Disney trip planned. That's all. I'm
You
going to have to
better,
cancel,
you
though.
better cancel that and get your money back.
No, we're building droids. We're gonna go get my daughter's hair done at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. It was gonna be
Where?
very
When is this taking place?
beginning of June.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
gonna be doing her hair at Bibbidi Bobbidi, your damn bathroom.
say that. Oh my gosh.
Omar, what is gonna happen to our comics? Diamond is not paying the
Yeah, no.
bills. Oh, a lot of things are gonna be different, guys. There's no uh, there's no denying it. Things are gonna change, and they're not gonna be for the good for anybody. There's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna be canceled. There's gonna be a lot of things a lot of decisions are gonna be made that I'm sure people are not gonna be happy with, but they're gonna have to be made.
Yes.
And Diamond may have some competitors, and sometimes that's good, but in this case,
Not so good.
it's just I said it yesterday, like, and the day before yesterday, like it just means that your discounts that you're used to are gonna go down. Those nice discounts that we've been pampered with, at least here in America, it's not
Yeah.
gonna be as good, sadly.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
at least we'll get them.
Good night, Matt. Matt's hitting off. I was just saying good night to Matt Tunstall. He's taking off.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Night, buddy. Thank you for joining us. What about
Don
comic?
Marmello.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I
God.
heard about that, Bruce. I heard that they were gonna go that route, but everything is still up in the air. Everything is still up in the air so far.
Alec Matthews like, well, comics was a good run. Back to video games.
All those will be canceled too. Your Final Fantasy VII canceled. Sorry, Matthew. Back to the drawing board. So we don't get discounts in the UK. So no, right?
Yeah, there you
Right?
go.
I know. You guys, you're right. We are very blessed here in America.
Yes.
And they're starting to go up in the UK
Oh,
already. My
man.
goodness.
So speaking
Oh. Is that what we're gonna do? All right, let's talk about. You said. I'm sorry.
no, I was saying so. to get us on topic about what we're going to talk about for next week, or in
that's
the
where I
next
was going.
couple. So Don Momello had said the absolute #1 special spot in hell belongs to Batman and Robin. And so finally, we will do that at some point. We want to bring Maddie in because Maddie actually
Loves that movie.
loves Batman and Robin. So we need to hear from her what she feels is so special about that movie. So when we get to that point, we're going to bring Batman and Robin in. But
We're gonna bring Batman and Robin in, and we're gonna bring Maddie.
Maddie and Batman and Robin. Why the hell not? What was it? What's his name? Chris, whatever. Super popular young guy.
Chris O'Donnell.
Chris
right?
O'Donnell. Yeah, Chris O'Donnell. Yeah, we'll bring him in. George Clooney.
Sure. I don't think they're doing anything besides trying to save the world.
I don't think Chris O'Donnell's doing anything, but George Clooney, his wife's probably out saving the world. He probably is too, let's face it. So
Okay. Well, Chris O'Donnell isn't doing anything because of Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
So I will do another poll. So let's have some suggestions.
Yeah, suggestions. Next movie.
I've heard Ang Lee's The Hulk out there.
Yeah.
And so you all in the chat right now, leave some suggestions, and I'll put another poll. I liked Batman and Robin when I was 8, when I saw it in the theater.
I think it's a perfect movie for an 8-year-old. Yeah, I think every 8-year-old would probably enjoy it.
It's very colorful.
I was about 8, I think, when it came out in theaters.
Nah, you were older. You were a lot.
No, because Alicia Silverstone was just in Clueless, and I was young, and I remember like when I'm 16, I want to get a white Jeep just like her, and I didn't get
because of Batman and Robin.
No, because of Clueless.
Blade Trinity, dude. I already saw one Ryan Reynolds enough for last.
Whoa, we should do a whole bad Ryan Reynolds. We have to do X-Men Wolverine.
Son of the best. Okay.
I'm writing all these down.
All right, Amanda's gonna. Dude, don't you? When I was talking about guilty pleasures, Predator 2 was in my guilty pleasure.
Wait, we should write. Okay, let's do superhero movies. Let's target it down. We're doing superhero movies.
Are we making a movie about Uncanny X-Force, K-Dog? Because I'm in.
What?
The Shadow, is that the Adam Baldwin?
Someone said Iron Man 3. I would, okay, you know what? I would do that just to defend it a little bit.
Iron Man 3, I agree with that. Iron Man 3.
Spider-Man 3, yeah.
My boy.
Watch too.
The Phantom with Billy Zane.
Oh my gosh.
Did he wear a wig in that, or was that just in Titanic? I can't remember.
I think he wore it in Titanic.
Dredd? Like the original Dredd with Stallone? Because I like the new Dredd. The new Dredd is solid. Unbreakable. Man, that movie. I don't get it. Alec Baldwin, not Adam Baldwin. Thank you. Adam Baldwin is Jane from Firefly. Punisher. Which one? The Duff Lundgren Punisher? Spirit. That's a bad one. Nobody deserves these movies. And you do Catwoman. I will put Catwoman on the poll again because Amanda really wants to watch it.
Last time, and I don't even think I've seen Catwoman, guys. So,
hell
so I
no.
think I might have missed the boat on that because when it came out, I don't know if it was
look at that
in my alley. See,
we
Tyler,
agreed.
We can't. We just reviewed it late last year. I just don't want to revisit it now.
We agree that we would.
I don't want to see that Baba. I can't see the Baba Yaga scene again. I really don't want to go through that.
I like Spider-Man 3 more than Iron Man 3. Whoa.
Okay, I'll fight you on that one.
I may agree with that. That one's a pretty bad movie.
It's
RoboCop 3. That was written by Frank Miller. Oh, you're right. Catwoman was worse than the Hulk.
Ooh, well, yeah. Probably. Steel. I see Steel.
Swamp Thing 82 and Swamp Thing Returns have a special place in my heart, but I'll watch them again. Superman 4. All right. So what I'll do is I'll throw a few of these out, maybe 3, to make it a little bit easier for people to vote. Because if I put like 8 out there, the votes kind of get. We had I don't even remember. We had a lot of votes come in, so a lot of you all wanted us to be punished and watch this really crappy movie.
Really did.
So we had 969 votes.
Thank you, guys. It's awesome.
It's really awesome. And
that is really awesome.
43% of them voted for Green Lantern. Daredevil was 30%. Ben Affleck. By the way, if it's Daredevil, we may just stick with the theatrical cut. We don't want to make it fair and do the director's cut.
Yeah, because we have to stick to what we remember from when it came out.
Sure.
Just like if the Snyder Cut's ever released, guys, I'm never going to go back and watch it to compare or just to say, was it really that bad? No, the original version of Justice League that came out in theaters. Okay. I got Cap America from the 90s. That's on the list too, guys.
And another thing is, like, we would love to do the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, but that movie never legally came out. So I don't think it'd be fair to, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't finished and there's bootleg copies of it. But let's just make it I was a Daredevil vote.
Oh,
It-
Sam, and we did the new Fantastic Four last week. So if
yep.
you head over to the channel, you can actually see us talk about the 2015 one that we just watched.
I
Oh,
love the Green
McNoodles.
Lantern. It's been a while, and you just come in swinging
I
like
love the
that.
Green Lantern movie. Thanks.
K-Dog, Mask of the Phantasm is perfect. That movie is not in the top 20 worst superhero movies of all time. Animated Ultimate
Batman v
Adventures.
Superman.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a bad one. Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. Also, soft spot in my heart for that.
Yeah.
Had Louis Gossett Jr., who's filmed in Australia. That's all I remember. Oh, yeah, you can find the movie. It's just, I don't think it's fair to judge it because it was never really finished, right?
Yeah.
At least with these other movies, like
They
The
came out in
Crow.
theaters and
Yeah. Bad
Yeah.
ones, man. We don't want to do good ones. Good ones are
yeah,
fun.
we're reviewing movies like, were they really that bad? And that's why I'm really liking a lot of these older picks, because we're like 5 or 6 years removed, from watching the film.
Yeah.
So you get to see it kind of with fresh eyes, if you will. That's why I'm definitely not going to do Hellboy 2019.
No shit. They made more Crow movies? I did not
They
know
did.
that. I thought that Crow did one movie and that was it. Frank Miller did, yeah, because he directed it and he had no business to, but yeah, you're right. I strongly vote for Batman and Robin. Green Hornet with Seth Rogen. Yes, that movie.
Yes.
Crap. You need to do a bad live action movie adaptations. Like adaptations of animated films, like anime or like Mulan.
You don't know if Mulan's gonna be bad. I'm actually looking forward to seeing it because
don't yell at Justin.
I'm not yelling at him. I'm yelling at you because I'm always yelling at you.
You're always yelling at me. That's the usual.
Yeah, X-Men Last Stand is definitely
write that down because oh my god, I've seen that movie once in the movie theater.
I think I've seen it a couple times because it used to be on like the FX all the time. You know what I mean?
I would rather watch two flies screwing than watch X-Men: The Last Fly. The Last Fly. I hate that movie. That's probably my least favorite superhero movie of all time.
Yeah.
I love Green Lantern, Green Hornet. The main character reminds me of Seth Rogen. Okay, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. Daredevil had Ben Affleck chewing Vicodin in the shower. The only two good things about that fiasco. Dude, Daredevil was such a... Do you remember the park scene? Like, I can't wait to rewatch this movie because I've only seen that. That's the thing about these movies is I've only seen them one time. So going
no one's
back,
mentioned Elektra, have them? Okay, we did review Dark Phoenix too, not too long ago.
Yeah, we did that.
We're not gonna probably talk about last year.
Last year, yeah.
And you can see our rating on that if you
should wish to. That was a short. I think it was only like 10-15 minute video.
We kept it short because we didn't have a lot to say.
X-Men Last Stand killed X-Men for me. Me too, man. It wasn't until First Class that brought it back, but that movie...
And they surely just decided to...
How do you kill off one of your main characters off the screen? Like, what? No. But yeah, I'm going to rewatch that. So we're sticking mainly to Superman and forward is what we decided, right? Like 80s Superman or 78
Superman. Yeah, we're sticking
Superman.
to kind of like 80s,
90s. Those are bad. Mainly Superman 3 and 4 are bad, but the other ones, yeah. Superman 4, Quest for Peace, Superman 3. I love that those were back to back completely.
Yes, because we've heard those mentioned quite a bit.
Oh gosh, contracts. No, I get it. I get
say live action anime.
Got you. Those, there's a lot of horrible ones, but I kind of like some. So I get contracts.
That wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. We reviewed that too.
We did review that together. It was
shout out to 2017 Amanda and Omar. 2018 Amanda and Omar.
Yes.
I get contracts, but there are easier ways to get rid of characters in movies with the potential of them coming back instead of like, oh, they died off screen. And if you're gonna kill off a main character, show it. Don't come on. Who was the best Superman actor? Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, I mean he really was.
Like,
Now Henry Cavill makes a great Witcher.
not
Geralt
talking
of
about Henry
Rivia.
Cavill. We're talking
But I'm
about
just saying,
Superman.
he's not my Superman. Christopher Reeves is a good one. But
If the
Brandon
new
Routh
Mulan doesn't have
doesn't
a
do
track that sounds like Eddie Murphy, I'm going to be very upset. My man, Charlie gets it.
Charlie. Y'all
It's,
know it
it's
is a historical
historically
piece. So if they bring it
accurate.
back as a historical fiction like movie, it's
Y'all want to see me
okay.
break,
At least
y'all
it's
want
a
to see
little
me
bit
break
different
Amanda?
than the other live actions that are basically just the same thing that was the animated version with
Y'all want to
added
see me break
songs.
Amanda? It's going to happen. This is the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg of how you break Amanda by mentioning Mulan in the historical.
Yes, okay, Freddie, yes, Brandon Routh, he did, I mean, he give him props where props is due. He does a pretty decent Superman, and yeah.
He does okay. He does a decent Christopher Reeve Clark Kent Superman. Absolutely.
Did you see him in the crossover?
Yeah, I watched it with you. Remember?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
We were gonna review it, and then
2019 seems so far away,
I
long
want to
ago.
say that was in December. That's only been a few
But
months.
it's been a lot has happened since then. Like a whole
T2 Comics reviews and hauls. Are you giving Green Lantern a 0.5?
5?
That's the lowest rating I've seen.
That's the lowest rating. It's barely a
There is no dragon in
no,
Mulan.
yeah, there is no dragon, guys. No dragon, no songs.
This Hancock. Well, does it count?
Does it count? It's not really. I mean,
It wasn't that bad, was it? Was it that bad? I don't remember.
It wasn't that great, but it was. It had all the charm of Will Smith and Jason Bateman. It could have.
No, nobody really mentions George anymore or appreciates George, but he's the guy that kind of started it. You're right.
Okay, I'm gonna fight Jack on this. Mulan is gonna be the worst live action remake.
Where's my boy at?
Have you watched The Lion King? It's
I agree.
not. It's so like it's devoid of any emotion because they made it so realistic, which it is beautiful. Like, yes, it is photorealism to the extreme, and I love that. It's great, but there's no emotion, and it's literally like listening. I love Donald Glover, but listening to him do Simba, there's nothing that you can't see the animals emote. You see nothing. I don't feel like I felt when I watched the animated.
Oh, it was because it wasn't a little white kid singing it, man.
No. It was first of all, it wasn't a little white kid who sang in the original. So just so you know.
Oh, wasn't it? What's his name? Little Jonathan Taylor.
He did the voice, but not the singing. So he didn't do the singing voice in the Just Came to Be King. Okay, but it was a white guy who did the voice as an adult. But yeah.
This is how you start breaking Amanda.
Doesn't matter.
Oh.
I've had to pick any of this live action so far. That one is my least favorite.
Really? Worse than the Jungle Book?
The Jungle Book, a lot of people liked it.
Really? I never hear anybody talk about it.
A lot of people like that compared to a lot of the other ones. My favorite actually would probably be Aladdin. I
have honestly seen like nothing. I have seen none of these remakes.
I know, unless you're at my house.
Unless I'm forced to hang out and watch these movies. And I don't mind if they're on in the background. But it's just not for me. It's cool. I appreciate it. Like a lot of people get into it. And if it brings a newer audience to check out the original ones, cool. But whatever.
Well, Disney Plus is doing that just fine by
itself. Jason Weaver sang for young Simba.
Yes.
Okay. Haven't seen Aladdin yet. I tell you what, though. Jasmine in Aladdin. My goodness. She's gorgeous.
Yes. Naomi Scott is very beautiful.
Was she in the Power Ranger movie? That's where she was.
And then she was in the Charlie Angels movie that was not very good.
Yeah, that's
a shame because she's a good singer. I mean, she was in this Disney Channel original movie called Lemonade Mouth before, like a long time ago, and there was about a band called Lemonade Mouth, and she's a good singer.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, and I think that the actor who played Aladdin was pretty cute.
Movie.
Oh God, my husband made me watch that because he's a huge Dragon Ball fan. When we were dating.
He's not a real Dragon Ball fan if he made you watch the live action movie.
No, he wants you to watch I just remember like us laying in bed when we were dating, and we just watch all of the anime on like all the episodes, and I was like, I'm gonna stay with this guy forever. I'm gonna marry this guy.
That's what made your decision. Oh, he likes shitty movies. I might as well stay with him. I see. I see your train of thought. I get it. I get it. Money, money, money. Pretty much. Kung Fu Hustle. Love that movie, man. My daughter and I watched that. She was sick last year. She stayed home from school, and I was like, "We're gonna watch a kung fu movie, but it's gonna be a little funny one." Mulan is delayed until next year. Is that true, Amanda? You would know.
It's right now. They, as far as I know, Disney hasn't come out with
Yep.
actual release dates for Mulan or for Black Widow. They just delayed it.
Okay. There you have it. You heard it from the source herself. She writes articles for Cosmic Book News, and we got this
I
covered.
do not. I do not. Okay, they're the ones who would probably say, "Oh, it's gonna be, blah blah blah, released whenever." But until I hear from Disney, as far as I know, they haven't. Because now this is what I think Sony did the way they
Can I
did.
can I answer this really quick,
Yeah,
and then we
sure,
can get on
fine.
that? So the Rocketeer, absolutely. I love the Rocketeer, and that's why I think I like First Avenger so much because it was the same director, and it kind of gave you that same feel.
Yeah.
She writes for Fortune.
I do not write for Fortune. And Shonda Sook, I am still a single mom right now because my husband's stuck.
Because she forgot to look up the definition of a single mom. All right, Amanda, what were you saying about Sony?
Okay, so when Sony's moved a bunch of their films, including Morbius, what else did they move besides Morbius? Oh my God, she escaped me. They moved a bunch of stuff to March of 2021.
Uncharted.
No, they moved that back further. That was supposed to come out in March. But they moved Morbius, and if someone could tell me the other one, I can't remember off the top of my head. So they moved them to March. No, not Spider-Man. And they also moved an untitled MCU Sony combination farther out into next year as well.
Morbius.
Not Morbius, something else. Untitled
Venom
right
2.
now. Ghostbusters. Thank you, Adam. Yes, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Those both were moved from their original.
Oh, you got excited. What the hell did you? What's the name of that?
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Afterlife.
They got moved to March. And so what I'm thinking is the reason they're moving to March is because they think by the time this is over, then Disney will
everybody go see a shitty Ghostbusters
Mulan and Black Widow in the fall. And they don't want to be up against any of that stuff. They want to give it their, they want to give their movies their time. So they're pretty much blocking out March in hopes that when other when other production companies start to move their films, they may not move around those times.
Captain America: First Avenger, in my opinion, is the most underrated superhero. It's a great one.
It's a great one.
So I don't know. I think a lot of people are playing it safe by moving it. I think I find it really odd that WB was like, nope, we're releasing it in August. I mean, they have a lot of high hopes that everything is back to normal.
Be out. Well, I think they're just leaving it as a date, and then they can move it if they want to. And also, they kind of they're putting their mark. So if this is by chance in happy endings over, then Disney wouldn't release Black Widow right with Wonder Woman. They'd have to wait because right at the time, Black Widow was coming out before Wonder Woman, right? But now it's gonna have to come out after Wonder Woman. So that's where they kind of get that advantage. So let's set that date. Let's say we're coming out in August. Then Disney's like, maybe we're holding off on Black Widow because we don't want them to come out too close together. Two female-centric superhero movies back to back.
When was the original release date for Black Widow? And
the 1st of May. Beginning
and then
of May.
What about Wonder Woman? What was
June 5th.
Okay. I told you first big release after CV is over, $3 billion movie. Nope, you're right, man. It could be fucking Cats 2, and we'll go see it. I don't care what it is. I'll go see it. Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z was Pekar, aka coaching channel name Elias Melis. Wasn't Piccolo, what's his name from Buffy? Spike?
James Marsters?
Yeah, wasn't he Piccolo in the Dragon Ball Z live action movie? I never saw it. I just remember one thing that I may have gotten excited for was him in the movie. So
yes, he was Piccolo.
Okay. Are they still planning on a Little Mermaid live action with the black
her name is Halle Berry, not Holly Berry. And
her name is not Holly Berry. It's Halle Berry.
But her name is Haley. And a lot of people were tagging Halle Berry, but it was supposed to be Haley when they were all complaining about it. As far as I know, they're still planning on releasing it, but I don't think it's in production or anything yet. And even if it was, it's not right now.
Charlie, you have a lot bigger faith than I do in how stupid humanity is. Remember those kids that went to spring break, knowing
No, what about the
knowing
ones
this
here
was
in our
there.
the ones in our state who went had a coronavirus party and then everyone got sick?
Oh man.
Thank you, Make Havoc, for the compliment.
Thank you, Make Havoc. She doesn't hear that enough.
I don't.
No, God, we joke about
I
this
really wish
every
it would
year.
be just so we could just because at this point I don't even believe this movie is finished or real. It's all a joke, and Disney, if you want to be real with us, just go ahead and release it on Hulu or Disney Plus. Just do it. Release it on one of those places. Release it for digital on demand. I'll buy it. I don't care. Just so I can, or I'll rent it for $19.99. I did rent The Hunt. That was interesting.
I'll be there. I'll be showing up at Amanda's little
Yes.
party, whatever streaming party to watch Black Widow.
No.
I tell you, the ongoing jokes would be like, "Hey, remember when you thought this was gonna be over in a few months? And we're watching Black Widow at your house in January of 2021. Woo!"
Hey, Bruce, they should release New Mutants on demand. I don't know what kind of profits that Disney thinks they're going to make from it.
By now, it's ridiculous, right? It's
because
becoming.
people don't even believe it's real. So, yeah.
Awesome Gamer, thank you so much for watching Old Reader, New Reader. Do you think you would read Stuff of Legend? Yeah, I love that book. It's not back yet, is it? It was on hiatus for a few years, and I heard it was coming back 2019, but I didn't see any new issues. I went to see New Mutants in the theater too. Dude,
Yeah.
at this point, let's rent out some theaters. Wait, no, that's not going to help either. Never mind.
Ooh.
So, yeah. I used to be excited about New Mutants, but I gave up hope years ago. Isn't that sad? All right, so here's a good thing. Black Widow and New Mutants combo. Purchase $35
I think it's going to make the same money. Like for Black Widow, because someone said they just put everything on Disney Plus and do it with the silly theaters and physical media.
Jack said we have a better chance of seeing Snyder.
At this point, I would agree with that. To be honest, we probably do. Oh gosh,
is it me or is Omar looking or? It's you, motherfucker. It's you. What movie from your childhood would you two like to see a remake of?
Ooh, okay.
All right, so I hate remakes, so
he does.
This is a really hard one, but I think certain movies would benefit from updated like technology, right?
Yes.
I think certain movies with maybe a creature or two. What about you, Amanda? You love remaking everything. So
I don't. Why do you think I love to remake everything? I will watch anything that comes out, most anything. I don't like scary movies.
So what movie would you like to see remake then?
I know. I'm trying to think about my childhood and what I'd want to see remade today.
Pulp Fiction.
Well, that wasn't my child. Like that, it came out when I was a child.
Right.
But I was not a child. Like, I mean, I could see maybe an. There's a couple of teen, like romantic comedy movies that I could see being remade. That would be cool.
No, you can't remake Goonies. Nope.
No, not that. Like I was thinking. I mean, I would be interested to see like an updated Clueless, maybe. Or I know they're redoing Babysitter's Club, which that would have been one of mine because I loved it as a child.
I don't even remember that movie.
Oh, with Alex Mack, the girl who played Alex Mack.
Amanda Bynes.
Nope.
I don't know these people. I'm just looking. Aliens 3 remake. Yeah, where they don't kill off Ripley or they kill off Newt off screen. My daughter was so mad about that. She just watched that a couple of weeks ago with me, and she was like, how are they going to kill off Newt and Hicks at the beginning? They better not. Nope. Bob Hale said they will not ever remake that movie.
Yeah, they have that. Oh, Ridge Jackson live action Atlantis. Yes, I would like to see that. That would be a cool remake if they did it, because I think that movie was underrated. That's a Disney movie that came out with Michael J. Fox as Milo Thatch, and he goes in search for the lost city of Atlantis with this crew, and it's really cool.
Derek, don't feel that old, Derek. The movie came out, what, 95? I was a junior in high school. So, yeah, I remember watching that in the theater. Jaws.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, you want to see that remade?
What if he's really young? What if he's like 18 and he watched that as a kid? You already
Did
want
the
the
most
remake?
recent one just come out 2 years ago?
So it's 94. For some reason, I thought it was 95. Continue.
No, Bruce, that's not funny.
Let's rewatch.
I watched that 2 weeks ago, and I thought, man,
I would
wow,
honestly
how
go. I would go with something like Lady Hawk. I love that movie. I don't care. But probably. Oh man, no, never mind.
what
Never.
if they redid Mighty Ducks? I've watched all
That's
3 of
your
those this
childhood.
weekend.
And they're
I know,
gonna
but I
remake
watched
it.
all 3 of them this weekend. I mean, I love Emilio Estevez. We could go with, an older, gruffer Emilio Estevez. Could do something else. I mean, I was not a
Got
fan
it.
of
Last Starfighter. The Last Starfighter. I wish they would remake that. Uh, the Last Starfighter was a great movie, and I love the idea. But I think with new technology, that would make a better movie.
Jack Pierre says, "You feel old. I'm 16. I'm starting to feel old because of the MCU." That's so good. Oh, Jack, I feel you.
Yeah, you're fine, man.
I remember that when
Jurassic Park
when
was a
NSYNC
great
started getting
movie.
older.
Police Academy. I love all these answers.
Wait, but Jurassic okay.
Larry, a
I
bunch
get
of
it.
kids here.
Quack,
I
quack,
was 40 when Pulp Fiction came
quack.
out. Larry, you're such a good dude. You're
Yeah.
such a good guy. You feel old. I'm 16. I'm starting to feel
Oh, that's
Well,
right, Cinematic Galaxy. Mighty Ducks Disney Plus series is happening. I
yep.
forgot about that.
I
So I do
always,
have something to look forward to. I mean, I watched the and it
your
they
daughter growing up, you always have things to look forward to, man.
well, I know, but I mean, besides that.
That actually it might still come, so that's why I didn't say
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe.
Actually, I've realized a lot of the stuff we're saying might actually happen.
What about Enemy Mine? I almost said Enemy Mine. If anybody, I know Philip Evans remembers, Larry probably remembers, but Enemy Mine with Louis Gossett Jr. and what's Dennis Quaid? But nope, still Last Starfighter. Did you give yours, Amanda? What was your choice?
I mean, I said maybe it's Mighty Ducks. I'm gonna go with Mighty Ducks, but they're already doing it, so yeah.
Cobra with Stallone. What an awesome movie! That
What if
movie
they
looks.
remade The Last Unicorn?
No, my wife would fucking
I
like
know. I
flip
watched that with
tables if they.
Lyndon. I don't know if Lyndon liked it. What if they aren't they doing They're doing a Willis series, so never mind.
Yeah,
They're doing Willis
and
series.
Willow was great. Willow
was
was great. Let's see. Twitter account for HBO Max tweeted it out about the Green Lantern series, or do they just announce Snyder
We
Cut
sure,
on HBO?
but it's April 1st, so we sure that's real.
Don't ruin Charlie's
Sorry,
dream,
Charlie.
Amanda. God bless. You just messed up that dude's one thing that he wanted this year. 2020's been really crappy to him, and you're like, oh, by the way, it's April 1st.
It's been a really
Who's Henry Crump? That's so like the John Candy movie. That's awesome. They should stop with the Predator remakes. Yeah, Predator 1 was awesome, and I don't care what anybody says. Predator 2.
I'd love a good Green Lantern remake too. Get back on topic. Thank you, Justin.
I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. I would love a Conan. They tried a Conan remake with Momoa, remember? And it was bad. Ooh, that's a good answer. They Live. That is a good answer. I love that movie. Rest in peace. Rowdy Brown Powder. I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yep.
Man, I love that movie. And who was the guy? Goliath. He was Goliath in Gargoyles. I cannot remember the actor's name. David. Killer Clowns from Outer Space was great. The Thing was great too. They still stand the test of time, I think. Justice League remake already. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I love all these answers. This is bringing back a lot of memories.
Keith
Legend
David.
was awesome. That's it. Keith David. Thank you. I always think it's David Keith. I like Momoa Conan better than Arnie's. Whoa, but Arnie punched a horse, man. That was awesome. No CG. I wish Tim Burton. Dude, what if Tim Burton did a Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton? Right? Wouldn't that be awesome?
You know, funny enough, when I looked at my memories from last year, you gave me that as a April Fool's joke. It was
did, and you got excited.
I got so excited. I was like, yes! And now you're like, April Fool's! I was like, ah, crap.
I got you. Well, thank you everybody for
Yeah,
joining us. This has been a
so
lot of
much.
fun.
Yeah,
I love the fact that we review the movie like the first 30 something minutes
and
into
the
the
rest of it,
thing.
we're just talking.
We're just talking to everybody in
I
the chat.
appreciate y'all doing that so much, just giving us all these topics to talk about.
We'll tell mom
It's
to
like a new
babysit
thing
that.
every week.
Well, Kevin Conroy was Bruce in the Crisis
Yes,
on Infinite Earths. He had a little cameo. Well,
he
not
did.
a cameo.
Quite a
He was in
cameo.
the
He was
movie.
in the movie, had quite a part in it, yeah, whew.
Dark Knight Returns with Keaton and Tim Burton directing it. That would be awesome. License to Drive. I love the Corey movies, man. Um, but anyway, thank you so much for joining us. If you couldn't join us live, we will be doing this hopefully every week at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to review crappy movies. I'll put up the poll the same time I did this one. I think it was on Sunday night, so look for it there, and it'll be on the YouTube poll. Vote for the next cruddy movie or the one that's ranked cruddy, because one of these I'm sure we'll end up loving and taking up for. No, it was not as bad as I remember, or
Especially if you
whatever
picked Iron Man 3, I might have to defend it on
the
my
name
ground.
of the show is. So, Amanda, would you please
Yeah,
do us the honors of signing us off?
sure. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at NearMintCon. Remember, we do have a Patreon, so if you want to support our channel, check that out. We also have a Redbubble if you want to purchase any Near Mint condition merchandise. And remember to stay safe out there or in your homes. Don't go out. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will hopefully be talking with all of you soon. So with that in mind, if it's not classy and cool, it's not mere mint. Have a good
Nope.
night, guys.
Nope.
If it's classy and cool, it
You
must
came up with that stupid thing that I have to say from now on, and you
if
messed
it's
it up.
classy and cool, it must be a near mint.
That's
Good night,
it.